Welcome back to another Exploded figure review. This time we are doing the Mythic Legions figure, Sir Adalric. So let's get into it.
You best get ready, cause now it's time for Art by Akerman.
All right, so here is Sir Adalric. He is another character from the Necronominous wave. He is a knight with an interesting bio. He's a very wealthy individual, also a man of principle, and a man that appreciates the arts. So he cannot be bribed, he cannot be bought because he has more money than he knows what to do with, and he gives generously, but he also fiercely defends the Order of Aetheron. So let's get into it. Let's take a look. So first things first, head sculpt. So we have this armored helmet with a flip-up visor, which is really cool. It has a port on the back, which initially comes with this feather piece that you can plug in here, which makes him look very fancy. You know, he's somebody that likes to dress a certain way. You know, he's not afraid to show off his wealth, I guess. And initially this was supposed to just come with one helmet with two face plates, this one and the skeleton. They ended up giving us two helmets. So as far as the way that this system works, so this is obviously the flip up visor, and then there is a piece here in the front that can slide off. And then behind that is a face sculpt that pops in there. So you can see it's got two prongs. There's two holes on this side. That pops in here, and then this goes over top of it, and then there you go, that's that look. And then if we switch over to the other helmet, same thing, but now we've got some damage here, and I believe this was just supposed to be a separate guard piece that would go over top of that helmet, but instead they gave us an entire new helmet. But you've got this damage here. As you lift it up, you can see there's a skeleton head inside, a skull, and it has damage on the skull in the same way that the damage is on this visor. So there's kind of a slice here, you lift it up, and that skull has the same kind of slice there. On this, you can pull out this front piece just like the other one. You can then pop out this skull, and this should be the same system. So let me pop this one out. Put this in here. So yep, that does fit in there. Oh, look at that. I think I just popped that off. That might be why they gave us two helmets, because that popped out. Let me see. Is that supposed to come out, or did that break? I know that it comes out of the helmet, but I don't know. Yep, that broke. So there you go. So be careful with that, folks, because that just shot across the room. But I'll fix that with some glue. But yeah, there's that. So, but it does look like, as far as like the face going in there, it looks like it's the exact same size and everything. Just be really careful of these side bits here. So, yeah, oops, first damage on one of these. But there you go. So that's the two different heads. I'm looking at the rest of this, and I don't see, other than that damage on the visor, yeah, I don't see anything else really different about these. So just two of the same head sculpts, two different with two different visors, two different face plates, and then even the coverings here. This one that was on this skeleton looks like it's a little bit more dirty than the one that was on the Adalric face. So a little bit of extra wear there. I don't see that on the helmet. Maybe a little bit down here. Maybe there's a little bit more wear on this helmet too. It's hard to tell. That could just be a blemish there. But yeah, so for the most part, the helmets look the same. Visors are different. Face plates have a little bit more wear. And then you've got these two different face pieces. You got the skeleton one and the Adalric himself. Then going down further, you've got this, neck guard piece, as well as the articulated neck. So then the articulated neck, it comes with an extra one. And like we covered with the Sir Elijah, these look to be the same, but if you actually compare them side by side, you'll see that the one that it comes with on the figure is a little bit longer than the other one. The other one's a little bit shorter. So depending on, how high you want the head, different head sculpts have different depths sometimes on the head itself, or you may want it to sit a little bit higher, a little bit lower based on what size pauldrons you're using, things like that. So you do have two different neck pieces that you could use. Going down in the torso, this is a painted torso. It looks very similar to the soft good piece that we'll cover later. So they did a really good job of matching the colors from the cloth to the armor. And I don't know which one was done first. So I don't know if they did the cloth and then painted the armor to match, or if they painted the armor and then tried to find cloth that match. But either way, it looks like it goes really well together. You'll see later on when we put this figure together, once you have that together with the waist piece, it does look like this could all be one soft good piece. So they did a really good job with that. This is your, same as your kind of Valiant Knight torso. Got some nice painted details with the leather strap here and some gold bits. Even some little gold rivets on the top. So that's cool. Going into the upper arms, you've got some more gold rivets, some brown leather straps, some gold trim here and here. This is a new elbow piece, and the elbow pieces will come off, but they are glued in. So it is a separate piece, and in the back there is like a peg that goes into the arm. So you can pull this off with some heat, and you could apply it to a different arm if you wanted to use this new elbow piece that's a little bit fancier. But just keep in mind that it is glued in. So, you may be able to get most of that peg out, but you may not get all of that peg out. And so when you go to put it into another one, you may have to either trim it down or something like that. And you're definitely going to have to tack it with a little glue in order to get it to stay in place. But that is a separate part if you wanted to use it for a different figure. That then goes into the elbow. Once again, some really nice gold trim around here on the elbow piece. And then that goes into the bracer. Once again, gold trim. Here we've got some like buckles or straps, but they didn't do like a leather strap. So they didn't paint this in brown. They did as gold. So like it's a buckle with like a silver in the middle of that buckle. So painted a little bit different, a little bit more of an armored look. You could easily have painted that, brown to make it look more leather with like a gold rivet, but they went gold with a silver rivet. So, but nice little trim paint details there. And then on the hand, you've got a horizontally hinged gripping hand with some, gold rivets along the side of the hand, as well as on the bottom side, and even on the knuckles. It's got some gold rivets on the knuckles. So he does come with an extra set of hands that is a vertical hinge, which are over here. So same gripping hand, same trim, same rivets and all that, but this one is up and down rather than side to side. Those are the only two sets of hands that he comes with, but there is an entire hands pack in this wave that you can get that'll give you a lot more options as far as the hands go. If you want like a casting hand or a grabbing hand or something like that, they've got some of those things in there. Let's see, going into the lower body, you've got your standard pelvis piece. This one does not have a boom boom hole. So some of these have had the boom boom holes, like the Undead Builder Pack. This one does not. So now he doesn't come with anything to put in there. He doesn't have a tail or anything. But sometimes it's nice to have that extra. The thing that I covered on the Undead Builder Pack, though, is the way that waist piece sat. It really covered up the hole, whereas this one doesn't. But you do have this like soft good piece. So I think it still would have been good to have one on here, just as, for a customizing option. I think it would have been cool. But anyway, just kind of your standard pelvis on here. One thing we've covered a little bit already, but on these ones that have soft goods, the pegs are a little bit taller to accommodate the soft goods underneath the waist armor. So something to keep in mind. So if you wanted him without the soft good loin piece, you're probably going to have a little bit extra gap here when you go to move this. But you could always switch this out for a different torso from a Mythic Legion figure that doesn't have soft goods, and then you won't have to deal with that. So if you say wanted to use this soft good piece on a different figure that normally doesn't have soft goods, I would just take this pelvis with it, move it over with it, and then switch those out. I also found out this week that these ball joints for the pelvis actually do come out with heat. So if you heat this up, you can pop this out and switch it with another one. So instead of switching out the entire pelvis, you can just switch out this ball joint. So just something to keep in mind there. Going into the waist armor, it is very nice. We've seen this waist armor before, but they've done a really good job with all the paint details. So you've got tons of like gold rivets. You've got this black leather here. You got gold trim around this way. Yeah, so they just did a really good job painting this up, making it look really nice and fancy. And then on top of that, you also come with this belt here, leather belt with some more gold rivets, a gold ring here to tie the belt together. You've got a gold buckle there, so nice little belt to go with that. And then down into the legs, you've got your kind of standard hip joint into the upper thigh. Nothing really special here, no extra paint details or anything unique from anything that we've seen before. On the upper leg, once again, just a lot of paint hits on here. A lot of gold rivets, leather straps, gold buckles. Just a really good job of making this look very ornate, especially for a standard, kind of figure price. Going into the lower leg, a lot more of the same. Gold rivets, leather belts, gold buckles. I like this gold ring they got here on that piece. That's really cool. So, and then that goes down into the feet. Feet have some gold rivets on the side, and that's really about it there. Did leave the ankle pegs in there. I may do a separate video just on removing the ankle pegs. They're a little bit of a hassle. So I try not to do it unless I have to, but I may do a separate, just a little video on that. And then you've got this little loin covering. It's a little tiny one. We've seen this on Dubon and a few others. And once again, did a real good job of matching this to the soft goods as well as the torso. And then that soft good piece we've kind of looked at a couple times. It does have a wire in it, so you can move that around. On each one of these flaps. It's 4 flaps connected to kind of give you this, cross pattern, blue and white. And then when you compare that to the torso, it's the opposite there, which then goes nicely into the shield, which I'll cover, which kind of has that opposite pattern too. So you got the white and blue, and then down here you got the blue and the white. So you got the cross pattern on the shield, you got the cross pattern on the torso into the loin piece. It's just really nice looking. So going into some of the other stuff, so you've got these pauldrons. At first glance, they kind of look the same. You got this feather thing, but they're quite different because this one here has a piece that's got kind of an Akerman logo, and that pops out. So that is a separate piece that goes in here. And I am super excited for this because this is something that I'm sure that we'll get, well, I would imagine that we're going to get this pauldron again in the future, maybe even one on the other side that has this part that can pop in and out with different logos or different whatever. You may even get some stuff from third-party printers that will find stuff that can pop in here to kind of decorate your knights and make them either aligned with a certain faction or a certain group or a certain, tribe or whatever it is. So that's really cool. I like that swappability option. And then up here, you've got this really nice gold feather coming off of the pauldron, as well as some gold details on the trim. Yeah, this thing's just really cool. Going over to this side, it looks like it's kind of different from that because it's got this piece here. But guess what? This piece is also removable. So that pops out just the same as that other logo did. So this is actually the same kind of pauldron, same hole. It's just got a different medallion in this slot here. So that opens up a whole bunch of possibilities for new attachments for these. I'm really excited for that. For not only what we're gonna get from the Horsemen, but what we're gonna get from third-party vendors. I think that's gonna be a nice little piece. And then once again, the feather details, all these gold trim on here. These are just really nice pauldrons. So you've got this like mace piece that's really cool. It's a lot smaller than some of the other like maces and hammers and things that we've gotten in the line. But I think it just looks really neat. It looks very realistic as far as a weapon goes. It's not like this big massive thing that's like, how would they carry that? This looks like something that, you know, you could swing pretty quickly and do some major damage with. So I really like this. This is a topper piece, so that does come off so that you can attach different things on there. But yeah, that's really cool. We've got one of these newer daggers that we've gotten with the sheath. So looks neat. Very similar to the one that we've covered already with Sir Adalric. So not much difference there. But you know, you do have this kind of darker leather here. You've got more of a red leather on the grip. A lot of gold in here, silver blade. So a lot of different paint hits on there. Then going over to this side, we've got this kind of typical handle that we've gotten for some other things with this new spear topper, which is really cool. So that looks pretty deadly. It probably can go down there a little bit further. It's getting a little stuck. I would have to heat that up. But yeah, that's neat. I like that new topper on there. That looks pretty deadly. So we already covered the shield, but the shield comes with 2 grips, similar to the Sir Elijah. You know, we've got this one, which is kind of your standard handle grip. And then we've got the old school fashion C-clamp, which I really like for the heavier shields. This one is not very heavy. This one is super light. It looks big. It's got this big piece in the middle that does pop out, but it's really light. They did a good job of manufacturing this with little weight, so that it's not going to make it hard for them to hold. But this piece pops out. You could put different attachments in here. If you wanted to add like the, you know, whatever piece from Zylona's shield from the Zylernian Guard, or the one from Attila for the Leodicius logo, any of those big attachments that you'd want to put in here. Heck, even the Cosmic one, if you wanted to put in here, you could fit in there because that's all the same attachment there. So that just pops back in. Maybe you get it lined up properly. There's a little like notch at the top, and then there's a little notch on this side, and you just got to line those up together, and then normally just push it right in, but there we go. Yeah, don't force it. There you go. And then one last thing to cover on this, we've got this belt, which I think is new. I don't know if we've gotten this one before. This is really nice. It's got a gold buckle. You've got a little like gold medallion there. You've got a bunch of like gold eyelets, like rings on here that also go along with the gold buckle here. Another rivet, a rivet there, and a little kind of buckle type thing here, and an opening right there that allows you to put something in it. So if you wanted to put a weapon on his back or something, you know, put this across his torso, and then put a weapon in his back, you've got this option right here. So this is a really nice belt. We may have gotten this on another figure, but I can't recall it. It looks brand new to me, but I really like this strap. So one thing with the straps, and I've already made this mistake on the Sir Elijah, but if you're going to heat up the holes on the back for the pauldrons, My advice would be to heat those up, put it, and then before you put in the pauldrons, then throw the strap on and then quickly put the pauldrons on. If you put this strap across here and then you go to heat this up for the holes and it heats up this strap too, there's a good chance that that strap will snap on you, or at the very least it may stretch it out and be a little bit too loose. Because this is a softer material and it gets kind of, we'll say soft and maybe even melty pretty quickly. So if you're using like a heat gun or hair dryer, I would heat up those holes first, slap this on, put the pauldrons in, and then you'll be good to go. If you're using hot water or something like that, probably don't need to worry about it. But heat gun, you want to kind of be careful. So that is everything. At this point, I will go ahead and put the figure back together in fast time, because that seemed to be something that people enjoyed on the last one. I am in a hotel right now, so I don't have my normal setup, but hotels, they do have these hair dryers typically pretty handy. So I'm going to use the hotel hair dryer and go ahead and slap this figure back together. Because we've got that little damage on this, the damaged helmet, but I actually damaged this part of it that I've got to fix when I get home. I'm going to use the undamaged helmet, but I'm going to use the skeleton head, and we'll put this all back together. So here we go. All right, so here is the finished figure that I've put together. You know, after you're done putting that together, you still have one extra set of hands, you still have one extra neck peg, you got an extra helmet with a faceplate. Oh, I forgot to put this on here. Hold on, let me pop this on here real quick. There we go. That looks better. And an extra shield holder. So you've got these extra parts plus this figure. This is all together with, you know, he's got that spear hanging off his back, and yeah, so pretty freaking cool figure. All right, folks, that's another exploded figure review. This one has been on Sir Adalric from the Necronominous wave of the Mythic Legions line. Final thoughts, I'm really impressed with this figure. I liked it a lot more than I expected to. The shield is really nice. I love the attachment on the pauldron. And as much as I'm not a huge skeleton guy, the skull in here inside this helmet looks really nice. I like that look. So yeah, all in all, pretty good figure. I also like the color match they did from the paint to the soft goods. Looks really nice. So if you haven't picked up one of these, go ahead and do so. I know they're available at wolfkingcustoms.com. That's my preferred retailer, because when you buy this figure, you get an extra head sculpt with it. So if you can get extra parts that help you customize, I'm all for it. But even if you don't buy it from Wolf King, buy it from somewhere, because you're gonna like this thing. You can mix it with other, you know, figures from the Necronominous wave, other, you know, figures in general, Legion builders. Get a cheap Legion builder, mix some of these parts with. You're gonna have a good time, because this has got a lot of cool stuff with it. So until next time, folks, keep creating. Adalric, or Adalric, Adalric. Maybe that's 3 names. Adalric, Adalric. We got Adalric here.